Good afternoon. Welcome to this Tuesday midday meditation. This is the Tuesday after Easter. I'll be reading one of the scriptures from the lectionary for this coming Sunday, which would be the second Sunday in Easter. I'll be reading from the letter 1 John, chapter 1, verses 1 through 4. We declare to you what was from the beginning, what we have heard, what we have seen with our eyes, what we have looked at and touched with our hands concerning the word of life. This life was revealed, and we have seen it, and testify to it, and declare to you the eternal life that was with the Father and was revealed to us. We declare to you that what we have seen and heard, we declare to you what we have seen and heard, so that you also may have fellowship with us. And truly our fellowship is with the Father and his Son, Jesus Christ. We are writing these things so that our joy may be complete. When I'm doing 2 weddings this weekend, I don't do too many weddings, so it's exciting to do 2 weddings in one weekend. Weddings are beautiful. 2 people fall in love and they come together along with family and friends to make a commitment that seals that love and ushers them into the future together. But it got me wondering, are modern Western marriages any happier than arranged marriages that you find some places in the world still, or that you definitely used to find in other times? One of the things that made me think about that is, along with my wife Shelby, we were watching the PBS special on Ernest Hemingway, his life, the writer, and noted that he had over his life 4 marriages, 4 divorces. He seemed to fall in love, get married, and then fall in love with somebody else, get a divorce and get remarried, and then fall in love with somebody else, get a divorce and get married. Hemingway was so talented, he was so successful, that it just seems everything, he could have whatever he wanted. Women fell in love with him very easily. He was very, very popular. He was very wealthy. He was just so gifted. Reminded me of the old adage that the worst thing that can happen to you is that you get everything you want. Seems like Hemingway got everything he wanted, and it kind of made him miserable. Life can get so boring, it can get so routine. And that's true whether you're talking about a marriage, whether you're talking about a job, whether you're talking about the place you live in, your social life, your hobbies, even your simple hygiene. It's easy to grow disinterested in just about any aspect of life and long to escape from it. One of the things I've done during the pandemic is now I shave every other day. Shaving is just so boring and so routine. I only do it every other day now. I figure people won't notice my one-day growth if all they ever see of me is over Zoom. Many of my friends and family have moved out of California. I guess they haven't moved because it was too boring. I think they've moved because it was too expensive, and some of them thought it was too liberal. But for me, I'm perfectly capable of being unhappy in just about any location. In 1 John, there's all this sensory language to explain relationship with Christ. What we have heard, what we have seen with our eyes, what we have touched with our hands. And I think this language, this sensory language, is purposeful because what we think probably happened during to the church when 1 John was written was that a group of people had split apart from the church over Gnosticism. That is, the belief that Jesus was a spirit and that believers can also transcend their earthly limitations, their body, and all the boredom that we experience on earth if they have the right illumination or instruction. They can transcend all this stuff, so they can escape. But for John, he says, Jesus was flesh and blood, make no doubt about it. The irony here is, of course, that this was written probably at least in the year 100 of the Common Era, which would have been 70 years after Jesus died. This was probably written by someone who never physically encountered Jesus, never physically touched Jesus or saw Jesus with his eyes or or heard Jesus. But whoever wrote this was part of a community in which previous members had, the apostles. And whoever wrote this does touch Jesus, hear Jesus, see Jesus in the community in which he or she is located, this church. That is, this is Christ's body for us. As the writer says, we declare to you, we have seen and heard, so that you also may have fellowship with us. And truly, our fellowship is with the Father and with the Son, Jesus Christ. So when you're in a community, when you're touching, when you're seeing, when you're hearing, you are touching, hearing, seeing Christ. You are experiencing Christ. The New Testament is clear on that in various places. And then later in this letter that John writes, whoever this John is, the writer says quite often, you cannot love God without loving your brothers and sisters. If you hate your brothers and sisters, you are not in the light. If you hate your brothers and sisters, you are not in relationship with God. So the writer makes it clear that it is within the confines and limitations and struggles of relationship, this touching and seeing and hearing, that we know Christ and that we gain the most life satisfaction. All relationship is a discipline, including marriage, including life in the church, including life with siblings, life with children. And it is in the confines of this discipline that we thrive and that we find true freedom. Thanks be to God. We'll see you on Sunday.